We found the needle in the haystack, and it was right here in Sacramento.
40 years later, police in California say they have finally caught the Golden State Killer. Wait until you hear what he did for work.
And should school staff be allowed to carry guns? Well, the new program is causing some controversy here on the Suncoast. We have those stories plus your first alert forecast. Good morning, Suncoast starts right now.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5.
Good morning, 5 o'clock, April 26th, Thursday. I'm Ray Collins. Glad you're with us.
And I'm Stephanie Webb. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. And speaking of waking up, looks like another nice day on tap, right, John Scalzi?
Oh, you got that right. It is going to be beautiful on this little Friday. We're looking at some, again, just kind of like yesterday, actually. Beautiful sunny skies, little chance of rainfall. Plenty of low humidity air to start the day off. I think by the end of the day, though, you will notice a little bit more humidity around as winds begin to shift to a little bit more southerly direction. That's kind of in anticipation of a frontal boundary headed our way tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a sec. For right now, satellite view showing everything pretty quiet across the state. Not much in the way of cloud cover around. A few passing clouds from time to time, but not too bad. We have a line of clouds back to the west. That's our frontal boundary. That will be approaching, promising us a chance of rain. For today, actually, it could bring some rain to the Atlanta airport. So if you're traveling in the second half of the day, afternoon and into the evening, they have an excellent chance of seeing showers, even some thunderstorms in the vicinity of that airport. Daytime high today will top out mild once again, coming in around 79 degrees, and no rain in today's forecast. Complete forecast details in a sec.
Very nice. Thank you, John. Checking first alert traffic. First off in Manatee County. Little blip there on 301 as you head southbound towards State Road 70. Otherwise pretty clear. Checking farther south now, the upper half of Sarasota County. Little red there on the map at the top left corner of your screen. 41. That is in the southbound lane as you head back toward University as you pass the airport. No reason for that little slowdown yet. And then checking our final maps to the south. We'll find nothing to report at 5:02 on your Thursday morning.
Well, captured finally. We're going to go to the story in a minute, but first here's a live shot of US 301 and Fruitville, one of those really busy intersections out on the roads for you this morning. Not looking too bad yet, but we all know like around 6 o'clock this morning, that area is one of those big ones that will definitely be picking up. Well, finally, after a manhunt that spanned over 40 years, police in California say that the man that they believe is the Golden State Killer is in custody this morning. DNA evidence led investigators to a Sacramento area grandfather and former police officer. ABC's Diane Macedo has the latest.
The FBI spent the night gathering evidence from Joseph DeAngelo's home, taking large bags of evidence and searching the backyard. Investigators say the former police officer is responsible for at least 12 murders, 45 rapes, and more than 100 burglaries that spread fear across California through the 70s and the 80s.
We found the needle in the haystack, and it was right here in Sacramento.
They surveyed him for several days and collected DNA evidence in the trash that authorities say links the 72-year-old to the crime spree.
We've always believed, at least for many years, that this case would begin and end with DNA. This defendant's been able to live free in a nice suburb in Sacramento. Our team is going to work hard to make sure that he never gets out.
According to authorities, a masked DeAngelo armed with a gun or knife would break into his victims' homes at night, sometimes tying up the man of the house and piling dishes on his back. He would then allegedly rape the woman of the house, threatening to kill them both if he heard the dishes tumble. Investigators say the suspect even called some of his victims after the attacks. Among DeAngelo's possible victims, 18-year-old Janelle Cruz, who was found murdered in her family's home, and Lyman and Charlene Smith. Both were found beaten to death with a log from their fireplace. But despite the brutality, the Smith's daughter says if convicted, she wants DeAngelo's life to be spared.
Save us all a bunch of money and agony and drama, and that I would like him to be in general population where he has to live every moment of his life in terror.
Diane Macedo, ABC News, New York.
Other news now, school districts across the state have been scrambling to meet new security requirements recently signed into law from Tallahassee. The program allows, trained school faculty members to carry a concealed firearm. It is based off nearby Polk County's Sentinel program. The sheriff there, Grady Judd, deployed a similar program at Southeastern University in Lakeland back in 2016. There he trained 8 faculty members to shoot, fight, and stop an active shooter.
We're not just randomly handing out guns. We're training people who are willing and capable to become law enforcement officers in a very, very narrow role, but a very vital role.
Tonight at 6, Sheriff Grady Judd and others make their case for the Guardian program, and also watch a local teacher show us some of the required training before giving guns to school employees.
Now hiring, Sarasota County Sheriff Tom Knight is still hiring 14 deputies to patrol 12 elementary schools as part of the School Resource Deputy Program. Pretty good gig, too. The deputies will work 10 months a year and reportedly make around $43,000 a year once you get certified. Now, overall, this program will cost just over $1 million. Well, if you live in Manatee County, the Sheriff's Office has a warning for you this morning. Lock your cars and make sure that there aren't any valuables in sight.
There has been a series of car burglaries in the past few days in Manatee County. Marla Spence joins us from one hotspot right now with an update. Marla?
Good morning, guys. I'm live at the Gates Creek community in Bradenton, and this is just one of 3 communities that's seen a handful of car burglaries. Now, the Manatee County Sheriff's Department is asking people who live across Manatee County to beware. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office is asking you to make sure you lock your cars. Sheriff deputies also say make sure you take all valuables out your car when getting out, no matter where you are. They say communities that's seen a trend of car burglaries besides the Gates Creek subdivision are Greenbrook Village East community in Lakewood Ranch and Raven Crest. The Sheriff's Office says they are continuing to investigate that large string of burglaries. Just over the weekend, about 17 cars were burglarized. They're asking anyone who has any information on these car burglaries to come forward and to call Manatee County Crime Stoppers. I'm Marla Spence reporting live in Bradenton for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Marla, meantime, 4 suspected burglars from Bradenton are behind bars today after allegedly robbing 2 homes near Clark Road and I-75. The first burglary was at a home on Goldfinch Street. Deputies say somebody startled the 4 men inside the victim's lanai. They then took off in a car before crashing into a deputy's car near the University Parkway exit. Deputies linked the men to another home on Cara Street in that same neighborhood as well. Here are 2 of the suspects, and now here are the other 2, all 4 charged with burglary. And the driver also faces an extra count of fleeing to elude.
Well, a happy ending this morning for an injured Sandhill crane. This poor guy has been seen around Myakka City for months now, walking around with an arrow through it. We do warn you some of these images might be a little graphic, but here is an image of the arrow that hit the crane near M&J Road. As you can see on the x-ray that you're going to see in a minute, it struck the bottom part of the bird. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office has been keeping an eye on it now for several months. Finally spotted it yesterday. The good news, wildlife experts were finally able to rescue it. They brought it to a vet who was able to finally remove the arrow as well. The crane is now recovering at Wildlife Incorporated.
This was just a malicious thing done by somebody. Why they would want to shoot a sandhill crane. They don't bother people. It's not like they would be damaging anybody's livestock or anything like that.
And even better news, the crane is expected to make a full recovery. It's going to be released back into the wild in the next few days. Also, authorities are pretty hopeful that the arrow's identification information on it will lead them to who did this. And of course, that person could be facing a $15,000 fine.
Happening today, Manatee County will host an expo on preparing for this year's hurricane season. It's called We Survived Hurricane Irma. Are you ready in 2018? It is free and open to the public. It's happening tonight from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Bradenton Area Convention Center. Former President George H.W. Bush is now out of intensive care. His spokesman says the 93-year-old is alert and talking as he recovers from an infection that spread to his blood. The spokesman says that Bush will likely remain at a Houston hospital for several more days, though. The former president was admitted to the hospital Sunday morning, just hours after his wife's funeral. First Lady Barbara Bush. Sources say Bush was hospitalized with an infection that led to sepsis, which can be life-threatening. 5:09 right now, still heading Good Morning Suncoast. The latest, First Alert traffic, and Amazon is changing the game for kids. The kid-friendly Alexa they unveiled.
And coming up a little later in the hour, a fraternity in Orlando is being suspended. What 2 students are being accused of today. We'll have that for you later. But first, Over to John Scalzi with a look at today's forecast.
Looks pretty good. Commute forecast this morning has none of the inclement weather boxes checked. And in fact, it'll be very similar to yesterday. You'll have temperatures in the upper 60s as you head out the door. Few clouds around, but then this afternoon, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures will be in the mid-70s. And all the airport hubs serving Sarasota are running on time. Though I'll tell you, the Atlanta airport may suffer some rain delays a little bit later this afternoon and into the evening hours. Complete forecast for you coming up in just a few.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
And it's a beautiful start to the morning. We have temperature of 66 degrees, and we are headed to a lovely day today. A dew point value coming in at 58. North-northwest wind at 6. Mix of sun and a few starry skies and a few fair weather clouds out there. So we start off the morning at about 66 degrees through about 7 o'clock. It'll be mostly sunny and dry through the morning and into the afternoon with 70 degrees by 12 noon. By 3 p.m., again, full wall-to-wall sunshine, I suspect, with a temperature of about 79. A few fair weather clouds, mostly in inland areas, I think, as we develop a more southwesterly wind. But along the coast should be sunny. And as we head into the evening hours, sunset looks great. It should be absolutely beautiful out there with a nice clean sky. As far as our temperatures go, once again today, they'll be similar to yesterday, coming in not too warm, around the 80-degree mark, maybe a little cooler. And that's, again, a couple of degrees below the average for this time of year. A few fair weather clouds are possible at times, as I mentioned, but nothing that's going to produce any rainfall today. However, as winds start to shift to a more southwesterly direction a little bit later in the evening, you could build a few inland clouds, and there might be toward the interior of the state an isolated shower, but that would be about it. Tomorrow, I think, will start to cloud up just a little bit as a frontal boundary begins to approach. Once that front comes through, our winds will start to shift to a more northwesterly direction, and again, dry air will filter in. And once that drier air filters in and establishes itself on the Suncoast, the weekend looks like it's going to be just great. So, one little brief period of rainfall perhaps tomorrow, and the rain chance is really not all that great, followed by clearing. The reason the rain chance is not all that great is because we have such dry air in place. Take a look at the water vapor imagery. Again, very instructive again today, with this dry air indicated by tan colorizations at the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. The air has a very brief period of time, the atmosphere does, to moisten. And that will only take place in about a 12-hour period before this frontal boundary approaches the region. So it's going to be plowing into an area that has a lot of dry air in it, and consequently, you're not going to get much out of it. Not much in the way of rainfall at all. This area of disturbed weather, located just a little bit further to the north in the Gulf waters, is producing a fair amount of rainfall. And that will gradually drift toward the Atlanta airport, and that's why I said they could suffer some delays there because of thunderstorm activity a little later this afternoon and into the evening before that front moves on past. As high pressure moves into the Atlantic in advance of this approaching front, we start to develop a more southerly wind flow, and that will increase our moisture tomorrow. You'll notice a little bit more surface humidity tomorrow than we are going to see today. The front, though, comes through in a pretty tame fashion, and after it's passed, you know, a pretty nice weekend in store for us. We will notice next week the temperatures start to increase just a little bit. The next front stays north of us. I don't think it's really going to impact us all that much, and we're left with a period of sunny skies and a lot of time for the atmosphere to modify and get warmer, and that's exactly what will happen. West wind this afternoon becoming southwest this evening through the nighttime hours at about 10 knots. Boaters, that means you'll have a light chop with about 2-foot seas. And the forecast for you this upcoming 7 days doesn't look too bad. Today, nice, 79 degrees. Tomorrow, we cloud up a little bit. We get that 30% chance of a shower, and I think the timing of those will probably be in the afternoon and into the early evening, then clearing out pretty quickly thereafter. Followed by a great weekend with temperatures near the 80-degree mark on Saturday, but warmer on Sunday, and that will be the beginning of a prolonged period of temperatures that will be warmer than we have seen for a couple of days. They'll be back up into the mid-80s, even some interior sections seeing upper 80s. Back to you.
All right, thanks, John. Let's take a look outside to your first alert traffic out there this morning. Starting off in Manatee County, we're already starting to see some of the bridges as you're heading into Bradenton, already starting to be a little bit busy this morning. Typical hot spots, 301 and State Road 70. Then in Sarasota County, those roads aren't looking too bad out there just yet. Not even University Parkway, which is usually backed up around this hour. That's actually running pretty good, too. Not much to see in Sarasota in this part. If we head into South County, those roads are looking pretty decent out there, too. A little bit farther south, and that looks good, too. 518, that's your first alert traffic.
All right, time now for our Dream 18.
ABC 7's Scott Dennis takes us to University Park Country Club and the challenging par 3.
Welcome to the beautiful University Park Country Club, and we're joined today by golf professional Clint Whitelaw. Clint, thanks for having us out here today.
My pleasure being here with you.
Well, you brought us to a beautiful par 3. Tell us about it.
I have. You know, University Park Country Club is really known for its par 3s, especially hole number 5, which we see when we drive in next to the road, which is a fantastic par 3. But we have many other gems here, and this is certainly one of them. Great hole. You know, a variety of distances from 186 yards all the way to 110 yards, so it's suitable for all golfers. And as you can see, it's quite an intimidating hole. You know, you've got the alligator there and the 2 big white bunkers, and out of bounds long and left. So it's quite an intimidating shot, but just a beautiful par 3 with a great receptive green.
I'm going to ignore the water and the gators and just look at the green.
I think you should, yeah.
Okay, Clint, thanks. I'll
Good
tell you
luck.
that. All right. Too much.
I'm thinking just on the left edge, should be good.
Look at that, I didn't play it.
Well, that was a challenge.
So let me tell you, a great hole. And how can people play University Park? It's open to the public, right?
Yeah, University Park's open to the public. We welcome visitors, people from Sarasota. We offer summer memberships. We're really good on our normal memberships. We have 27 holes here, 27 great holes. Just give us a call. If you want to come and play a great golf course, call University Park Country Club.
Don't play to the right on this one.
And keep your ball short left on number 16.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having us out. And we'll see you next time on the Dream 18.
Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, Google's Gmail is getting a big makeover. Some of the changes that you'll see coming up next.
And at 5:30, armed and dangerous. That's what police are calling the man who shot and killed a sheriff's deputy. The manhunt is underway right now. Here is a peek outside our window in the Rosemary District. Pretty day underway. Should see a high of 79 degrees. It is 5:20, and you're watching Good Morning Suncoast.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
A promise was made. A promise that hit the beaches of Normandy. A vow that captured Iwo Jima. A contract that weathered Tet. A pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq. An IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Well, sure, grown-ups love Amazon's Echo, and of course, talking to Alexa. Now, a kid-friendly version was just unveiled by Amazon. The Echo.com Kids Edition plays music and answers all kinds of their questions. But don't worry, the answers are tailored to a younger audience. For example, if a child asks about Santa Claus, maybe asks if it's real, Alexa responds by saying she hasn't met him yet and is curious about Rudolph's nose. As for privacy concerns, the company emphasizes that it only listens for the word Alexa to wake it up. It also has parental controls and a mute button for when your kids get carried away with all of those requests for Alexa. You can pre-order it right now for $79.99 and it ships out on May 9th.
It is a mystery baffling some of the smartest people on the planet, including John Scalzi. This picture was taken in the Beaufort Sea by the Arctic Ocean. There are 3 spots, holes in the ice, in the middle of this shot. Scientists say they are areas of thin ice, but it's an oddity that these researchers have never seen before. The picture was taken by NASA's Operation Icebridge. It was included in NASA's Puzzler series this month. Among the theories, these holes could be warm paths of water beneath the ice or caused by a marine mammal trying to breathe. I was looking at John's face and he looked puzzled.
I think it's the case for Mulder and Scully.
I think so?
Yep, I think that's what it is. Yep. Well, Google introduced a brand new version of Gmail, including one that allows you to send an email that self-destructs if you want to live out your Mission Impossible fantasies.
Maybe a good idea sometimes.
Right?
Here are today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bite, self-destructing emails.
Gmail unveiled several new features. Users can now set an expiration date for an email they send, and it will self-delete. You'll also be able to revoke previously sent messages. Amazon says it will release kid-friendly versions of its Alexa digital assistant and its Echo Dot speaker next month.
The gadgets have been described as digital nannies that can set time limits, thank kids when they are polite, and even tell knock-knock jokes. And the world's first personless bank branch is now open in China.
Robots greet customers and manage their accounts as well. The branch in Shanghai uses virtual reality and facial recognition. It also has a private room for those who need to talk to a human by video link.
Interesting. Society becomes so personal nowadays. Those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Tech Bites, sponsored by Xeljanz.
Needles, essential for the cactus, but maybe not for people with rheumatoid arthritis, because there are options, like an injection. Xeljanz XR, a once-daily pill for adults with moderate to severe RA for whom methotrexate did not work well enough. Xeljanz XR can reduce pain, swelling, and further joint damage even without methotrexate. Xeljanz XR can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, lymphoma, and other cancers have happened. Don't start Xeljanz XR if you have an infection, tears in the stomach or intestines, low blood cell counts, and higher liver tests and cholesterol levels have happened. Your doctor should perform blood tests before you start and while taking Xeljanz XR and monitor certain liver tests. Tell your doctor if you are in a region where fungal infections are common, and if you have had TB, hepatitis B or C, or are prone to infections. Needles. Fine for some things, but for you, one pill a day may provide symptom relief. Ask your doctor about Xeljanz XR, an injection.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
ABC 7 is the most watched, most trusted news source on the Suncoast, and we owe it all to you, our loyal viewers. Thank you for making us #1.
A nationwide manhunt underway this morning for the man suspected of killing a police officer in Maine.
The Manatee County Sheriff's Office is asking people who live in Manatee County to lock their car doors and take valuables out after a large number of car burglaries. What communities have been hit hard is coming up.
And how 30 foundations in Sarasota County are coming together to help kids in need. That story and more news coming up on Good Morning Suncoast.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5:30.
Good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. It is Thursday, April 26th. We are almost done with this month already. I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins. Another nice day on Tap to Tails now from John Scalzi.
Well, let me ask you, did you like yesterday?
Loved it.
You'll like today.
Yes.
Pretty much the same kind of thing. We're going to carbon copy at least the first half of the day for today. We do have a little change coming up in the afternoon, though, as we start to shift our winds more to a southwesterly direction. That will allow for an increase in humidity, and you'll notice that when you wake up tomorrow morning, I think. Across the region right now, a lot of blue sky and starry sky out there. I think as we head into the dawn, we'll start to see a lot of sunshine this afternoon. But again, we'll have this kind of westerly to northwesterly wind, this onshore flow of air that'll help keep our temperatures, especially along the coastal regions, in check. And so we're not going to get much above the 80-degree mark. That line of clouds back to the west, that's a cold front. It's headed our way. It's going to bring us a chance of showers, but not a great one. Atlanta Airport under the gun later today with showers and perhaps even some thunderstorms around. Our daytime high will top out near the 80-degree mark. Start off with 7 a.m. temperature of 66 degrees. As we get into the noontime hour, we're looking at about 70, and then by 3 p.m. around 79 degrees. Beautiful afternoon shaping up for us. 7-day forecast doesn't look bad either, but there are changes. We'll talk about that in a few.
All right, talk to you soon. Thank you, John. Checking the roads first off in Manatee County. Not too much to report so far. A little blip there in 301 northbound as you approach Manatee Avenue West in downtown Bradenton. Otherwise pretty clear. Checking farther south now into the upper half of Sarasota County. You'll see on Bee Ridge Road out by Cattleman as you get past the plaza there, some problems there. Also Clark Road in the eastbound lane around Beneva. Otherwise clear. Checking our final maps to the south now, we'll see no real issues to report at 5:32. Here's a busy spot during the morning commute. 301 and Fruitville right now, not too much to report there, but we'll check back on that throughout the morning here on ABC 7.
Happening now, a manhunt in Maine is underway this morning for the suspect who shot and killed a sheriff's deputy early yesterday morning. Officials are looking for 29-year-old John Williams. He's wanted in the death of Corporal Eugene Cole. Officials said that Williams shot Cole, stole his fully marked police cruiser, and robbed a convenience store. He then took off again in the cruiser and then later abandoned it. Williams is considered extremely armed and dangerous, and a nationwide manhunt has been issued.
Right now, the investigation, there's two parts of this. There's the manhunt, which our uniformed personnel are joining with the many teams that you see here that are from both state, county, local, federal. We have many partners bringing their assets to bear as we seek out Mr. Williams.
Corporal Eugene Cole was a father and a 13 veteran of the police force there.
That Sarasota-based New Orleans Saints cheerleader is offering an unusual settlement to the NFL. She mostly just wants a 4-hour sit-down meeting with the NFL commissioner. Bailey Davis's attorney, Sarah Blackwell, says the meeting would be to discuss a history of alleged discrimination against cheerleaders in the NFL. Davis says she was fired in January after she posted a picture of herself in a one-piece on Instagram. The Saints called that lingerie right there on your screen. But they also said in a statement that they deny that Davis was treated differently because of her gender, and they do not tolerate discrimination, they said. Blackwell says if the NFL means that, they should accept this meeting.
We're not asking them to spend any money. We're not asking them to admit fault. We're not asking them to say they're sorry. If they're serious, this is a risk-free, financially free way of addressing these very important issues.
Blackwell is asking for a response to her offer by next Friday.
Well, if you live in Manatee County, the Sheriff's Office has a warning for you this morning. Lock your cars and take anything valuable out.
Yeah, there's been a rash of burglaries in certain areas of Manatee County. Marla Spence is at one of those areas with an update. Marla, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I'm live at the Gates Creek community in East Bradenton, and this is where some people who live here have become victims of car burglaries. Take a look. These are surveillance pictures of the possible burglary suspects in the Gates Creek and Raven Crest communities. Manatee County Sheriff's deputies say these both communities were hit by car burglaries. Last night, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office put a warning on its Facebook page for people living in the county to lock their doors and also take valuables out their car. Other communities hit hard by car burglaries is the Greenbrook Village East Community and Lakewood Ranch. Just this past weekend, the Sheriff's Office reported there were 17 car burglaries just between Gates Creek and Greenbrook Village East Community. Now, if anyone has any information on either of these burglaries in any of these communities, they are urged to call Crime Stoppers. Reporting live in Manatee County, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Marla. Well, a fraternity in Orlando is being suspended because of an incident that took place at an off-campus party. 2 University of Central Florida students are accused of raping a woman at that party. Police say it happened at a home that was used by the fraternity for parties. One of the accused is a former member of the Alpha Tau Omega fraternity. David Kirk and Jack Smith have both been arrested and both have been charged with sexual battery. The fraternity itself also faces 6 charges, 1 for disruptive conduct and 5 other charges for alcohol-related misconduct.
More than 30 foundations in Sarasota are working together to help children in need. Dozens of nonprofit groups, government agencies, and charities will create the first 1,000 Days initiative. It combines their unique resources to help children in the community during their first 2 years of life. They're doing it by working together to help pregnant mothers struggling with addiction, homelessness, and financial issues. And they connect them to resources to combat any issues. They have a 2-step program they're hoping to launch this fall.
All of the brain science shows us that the first 1,000 days of life are critical, and we need to serve families to the ultimate care in those years. But this is the first initiative of its kind to bring all of the nonprofits, government agencies, philanthropies, and healthcare providers together to look at the system of care for Sarasota County.
They're hoping to try this program for a 3-year pilot program and then move on from there.
Well, stay away from romaine lettuce. It's still causing serious problems all over the country, and that's the warning this morning. The CDC reports 31 new cases of E. coli-related illness linked to romaine lettuce that's been grown in Yuma, Arizona. Now, that, of course, brings the number of people affected since mid-March to 84 across 19 different states. Now, 42 people have been hospitalized. Health officials say the percentage of hospitalization is much higher than most E. coli outbreaks, and they're working to figure out why this particular case is so severe.
A new museum opens today in Alabama, focused on a dark chapter in our nation's history. Today is the grand opening for the National Memorial for Peace and Justice and the Legacy Museum. The memorial is dedicated to preserving the memory of those killed in racially motivated lynchings. It features 800 6-foot-tall statues with the names of thousands of lynching victims from around the nation. The museum is marking the event with a 2-day summit, including a high-profile speaker such as former Vice President Al Gore.
And check this out, Sean Spicer reunited with the Trumps yesterday. Actually, the former White House spokesman was just on hand for the unveiling of a new wax figure of the First Lady at Madame Tussauds in New York. Now, that experience is actually going to be an interactive one. Now, these are actually the wax figures that you're seeing right now. It's going to be an interactive experience for visitors. You can tweet on Melania's behalf from a Twitter station, which will then go to a First Lady of Madame Tussauds account. So that's kind of interesting. And no worries, POTUS, like we said, has one too. The wax figure of President Trump, that one that is standing next to her, was actually unveiled a little bit earlier this year.
It's a relatively good resemblance.
I know, those are actually pretty good. Some are this horribly wrong, but those are actually pretty good ones.
5:39 right now, still ahead, the latest in First Alert traffic, and
it is an ingredient that is found in our morning coffee and our diet soda. But is it causing us to gain some weight? We're going to tell you about that a little bit later.
Got a peek outside right now. There it is. Looking pretty peaceful out there. Now, John can look at that and tell you, by the basis of those clouds, you can read the day. What do you have for us, John?
Well, we've got a little bit of what we call an inversion that kind of keeps a cap on the atmosphere. So those clouds that build aren't going anywhere till we get a little bit of heat. With a little bit of heat, we'll start to mix away those clouds, and it should be a pretty nice day. None of them producing any rain, just a few clouds, but dry for your school bus pickup forecast, 68 degrees. And when they come home, I think those clouds will be gone. We'll have lots of sunshine around. Should be a nice day with 77 the temperature as they get dropped off. A 10 out of 10 chance of seeing an outside recess today. Complete forecast details coming up in a few.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like, then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Thank you.
You got a king?
Go fish!
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
ABC7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station. Meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we're looking at an air temperature of 66 degrees, dew point value coming in at 58. Mix of cloud and fair weather sky out there right now. Nothing that's producing any rainfall. It should be a nice start to the day, but that dew point value is just outstanding. 58, that feels so comfortable. Again, today, low humidity air is going to make the afternoon feel comfortable as temperatures rise up to near the 80-degree mark. Tomorrow, that dew point value will be a little bit higher. I think we'll probably see dew points in the mid-60s as we head into even later on this afternoon. As winds start to shift to a more southerly direction, our dew points will rise. 66 by 7 a.m., 70 degrees by 12 noon. By 3 p.m., we're getting close to that 80-degree mark. I think we were at 79 yesterday. We'll probably be pretty close to that again today. A little bit warmer in inland areas, though. 75 degrees as we head into the sunset period. And there'll probably be 1 or 2 clouds around during the evening as we start to shift our winds to a more southwesterly direction. Few fair weather clouds around right now, kind of trapped in a stable atmosphere that will mix away with a little sunshine, and we'll be left with lots of blue sky, I think, as we head into the afternoon. And then as we start moving into tonight and tomorrow, we'll start to increase the moisture as a frontal boundary approaches, and we'll start to perhaps see a shower or two work its way onshore. The rain chance is not big, but it is there. The rain chance probably at about 30% tomorrow. Between, I'd say, noon and 5 o'clock, probably the best chance of seeing some showers around. And then that front will sink south, the winds will start to shift, and we'll be left with some fairer skies for the weekend. So the dry air on our water vapor imagery, indicated here by these tan colorizations, clearly over the state of Florida. And that's the reason we're not going to get a lot of rainfall tomorrow, because the air is very dry and there's only just a small little window of time to moisten that atmosphere before that front sits on our doorstep. It's just going to plow into dry air and not have much to work with. Now, to the north of us, there is a little bit more moisture. There is a little bit more energy in the atmosphere, especially aloft, and that's going to help produce showers around the Atlanta area as that low tracks off to the north and to the east. With that comes the possibility of some airport delays a little bit later this afternoon and into the evening hours because of showers and thunderstorms at Atlanta. So watch for that if you're traveling today. It shouldn't be a big deal, but that possibility exists. A frontal boundary then moves into our area tomorrow afternoon. We have mostly sunny and dry conditions today, but you will notice higher humidity starting to creep its way in, especially tomorrow, with a few afternoon showers around tomorrow afternoon. Then everything kind of clears out. I would say by 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow, our rain chance will go away. 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow evening, our rain chances go away. And then we're looking for a sunny and dry weekend with warming temperatures as we progress through time. So forecast kind of looks like this, and west wind comes in at about 10 knots, switches to the southwest as that high moves out into the Atlantic to allow that frontal boundary to approach. We'll be looking for a light chop with 2-foot seas today. Today should be a pretty nice day for boating. I know the winds have been kind of elevated over the last several days, boaters, but today should be much better. And then as we head into the next 24 hours, we'll start to see that rain chance begin to increase. An 11:34 high tide, a low tide at 6:04, and another high tide at 11:25. Expect to see a high of about 79 today. Tomorrow, a little bit warmer, a little bit more humid, chance of an afternoon shower. And then on Saturday, we clear out, we reduce our rain chances to 0, and we add a little less moisture to our air, so it'll feel even very comfortable on Saturday, kind of similar to today. Then on Sunday, we start to warm up, get to about 84 degrees on Sunday. And then as we start into next work week, we'll be looking at temperatures that are more typical for this time of year, even a little bit above average. Back to you.
All right, thanks, John. Let's take a look outside. Your first alert traffic out there this morning in Manatee County. Those roads are still looking pretty decent. Not too much to see out there at this hour. The bridges that's coming into Bradenton are starting to get a little bit busier, but other than that, not too much going on. In Sarasota County, those roads are not looking too bad either. A little slowdown right there on University Parkway and a little bit of a slowdown on Bee Ridge Road as you pass by 41. But other than that, not too much to see there either. Heading a little bit farther south, not too much on those maps. If you're headed to Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda later on today or in the next hour or so, your commute won't be a bad one just yet. It is 5:48, and that's your first alert traffic. Well, in this hour's Health Smart, it's something that you may already be drinking every morning in your coffee or maybe your diet soda. And guess what? It might be making us fat, Ray.
So how bad is artificial sweetener? Reporter Reed Binion has some new research for us.
It adds 0 calories to your drink, but it may add pounds to your body. A new report finds that no-calorie artificial sweeteners actually cause you to gain weight instead of helping you slim down. According to a study in the journal Experimental Biology, there's a link between no-calorie sugar substitutes and metabolic changes at the genetic level that could lead to diabetes and obesity. Researchers found that exposure to artificial sweeteners for 3 weeks altered the expression of certain genes responsible for breaking down fat. Researchers witnessed an increase in lipids in the bloodstream and a decrease in the molecule involved in clearing fat from the bloodstream. Scientists say the most surprising finding was that metabolic changes didn't occur when cells were exposed to natural sugars like glucose and fructose. Instead of altering certain genes, researchers say natural sugars contribute to cardiovascular disease through insulin resistance and by damaging the cells and blood vessels. The new research adds to the debate over artificial sweeteners and their impact on health. For today's Health Minute, I'm Reed Binion.
The FDA has only approved 6 artificial sweeteners, saying they are safe as long as they are used in moderation.
Legoland Japan has marked its 1-year anniversary this month by setting a Guinness World Record. Check this out. It is a giant cherry blossom tree. Look at this, is kind of the time-lapse photo made entirely of Lego blocks. This is what they're building right here. This team at the Lego factory, they designed and they built the tree. Afterwards, it was shipped to Japan for a final assembly. It's amazing. Overall, it took over 800,000 Lego bricks to put that whole baby together. And can I just tell you, that's like the best job ever. I would love to have a job at like Legoland building things like this. Yeah, the one in Orlando is pretty amazing too.
A cherry blossom.
And the detail on that, 800,000 Lego bricks.
Well, where better now to come back and show a live shot than Cherry Blossom Central, the Washington, D.C. area, big with cherry blossoms in the spring, right?
That is right. They have the Cherry Blossom Festival every year that goes on too.
There's the White House, top right corner, light is on. That means that Melania is giving Barron a glass of milk right now.
Yep.
That is the kitchen Stephanie has found.
It is. Thank you so much, Google.
5:51, more of Good Morning Suncoast local news headlines straight ahead.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. So wet.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
My name is Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator, there was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at NationalGuard.com.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast weekdays on ABC 7.
Happening right now, a major slowdown on I-75.
Behind me, traffic is just completely bumper to bumper. Take alternate routes this morning.
Weekdays starting at 5 a.m. on ABC 7.
Welcome back. Here are some of the top stories that we're following for you on the Suncoast today.
Sarasota County Sheriff deputies arrested 4 suspected burglars after a high-speed chase on I-75. They arrested these 4 in connection to 2 burglaries on Clark Road near the interstate.
Plus, caught after 40 years, police in California believe that they have finally caught the Golden State Killer, accused of at least 12 murders and 50 rapes over the last 40 years.
And months after winning the state championship, Venice High School fired their football coach, John Peacock. It's in connection to him liking a tweet by a player that referenced another coach's skin color.
And coming up in the next hour, we are going to catch up with the star of Quantico. The 3rd season starts tonight right here on ABC 7. And John Scalzi, final look at today's forecast.
Yeah, it's a lot better for allergy sufferers these days. I'll tell you what, we're looking at kind of a moderate to low moderate amount of pollens in the air. In fact, the forecast for tomorrow calls for even less pollen in the air. And of course, that now includes grasses as well. We are looking at today a wind out of the west staying with us, maybe turning a little more southwest with time. Good news. Almost all of the water samples along the Suncoast have shown no red tide in the waters. Around the mouth of Charlotte Harbor, there is some just very slight amounts. But otherwise, the further south you go into Lee County, that's when the amount of red tide toxin becomes a little bit greater, and you could suffer some irritation. We'll have the complete forecast for you coming up in a few.
All right, thanks, John. Big night on the Suncoast last night, the best of Sarasota. We're finally named. We're going to have some of those updates. You were there last night,
Yeah,
right?
fun night at Selby Gardens. Hundreds of people there. It was packed, so and a beautiful night as well. Details of that and much more news in your interview with the lead of Quantico.
Quantico, coming up next hour.
All right, stay with us.
Thank you.